Hey, what's up, cats and kittens? And shout out to all my cerebralites. It is me, the Cerebral Diva, back with another episode of RealiTEA, and that is T, E, and the A, because I give it to you piping hot. So grab your cup, grab your salsa. We got some cream, we got some sugar, we got some lemon, whatever you need, and have a seat. Let's talk for a little bit. So we're going to talk about, this is sort of going to be an advanced review of Season 9, Part 4 of the historic 4-part Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion. And I want to touch on some things that I sort of missed in my Part 3 review, and touch on some things that I kind of hope to see in Part 4. So with that being said, let's dive right into it. So the reunion, Part 3 of the reunion leaves off with Kandi exclaiming or asking Phaedra, "Did you say that?" as a result of Portia essentially pulling back the curtain and giving Kandi a peek into where the rumors that have plagued her this season actually came from. So Andy basically asked Portia a question, and Portia declines to answer the question and says, I want to defer to my attorney, being that I was served a cease and desist, and also being that she is the source of these rumors. Now, the moment that comes out of Portia's mouth, Phaedra's face is priceless. I'm telling you, please, if you have not seen it, just go back and just excuse me, just go back and look at Phaedra's face when Portia basically throws her under the bus. Excuse me. If ever there was the face of the cat that ate the canary, it's Phaedra. That face, oh my goodness, it's just like oh my god. Okay, excuse me. I'm gonna pull it together, guys. You just gotta give me a second. That face, I'm telling you, is hilarious. And it's so funny because okay, give me a second, please. I'm trying, you guys. Okay, I'm composing myself. The face that Phaedra makes, it was just like, girl, I thought we talked about this backstage. You're not supposed to say that. And Portia is so, I don't want to call this woman dumb, but Portia is so unpolished. We'll call her unpolished. That's a better word. Portia is so unpolished, unvarnished, that she just doesn't know any better. So she just says what comes to her mind. And in that particular instance, I think Phaedra was not prepared at all to be thrown under the bus the way that she was. So when Portia says, well, Phaedra is essentially the one who started these rumors about you, Kandi, so I'm gonna let her take over from here. And all hell breaks loose. And the one thing, you know, Phaedra is the shadiest of shady as far as I'm concerned, because to completely fabricate a rumor, a baseless rumor, is, I don't know. I mean, it takes a certain type of evil, in my opinion, to do something like that. And not only to do it, but to be stoic in that moment when you're confronted with it, like, you know, because she sort of had this nonchalant, indifferent disposition where she's just like, yeah, okay, I said it. And I think part of it was a defense mechanism, and I think part of it was embarrassment, and I think part of it was like, yeah, I said it. And, you know, I think it was sort of an amalgamation of all of those different emotions sort of coming together in that moment, because she was sort of put on blast and she really didn't know how to react, and she really wasn't prepared to react. So she just sort of sat there with sort of this sort of snide look on her face. Now, I don't know if any litigation is going to result from this, but based on what little I do know about law, I believe the definition of the definition of defamation is to cause hurt, the intentional hurt, to causing intentional hurt or harm to someone's reputation by saying something that's not true. And that's me paraphrasing, but I do believe that that's sort of the legal definition. And if that isn't in fact true, then I hope Kandi sues her. I really do. I hope Kandi gives Phaedra a taste of her own medicine, because this was a complete and intentional character assassination on Phaedra's part. And I think she needs to be held accountable for it. And it'll be really interesting to see if, in part 4, if she has sort of a crisis of conscience, if she has, you know, if her heart is as black as we believe it to be, because this is an opportunity for Phaedra to come clean, to say, you know what, yeah, I did say it, I was pissed off, my feelings were hurt, I thought we were closer, to really just express herself in a way that makes her human. Because right now, I'm sorry, she's coming off like a bitch. You know, and she's coming off like a vindictive bitch, which is the worst kind, you know, because there's no reason, in my opinion, to want to do her to harm to Kandi. Now, had Phaedra have said this about Mama Joyce, I would see why Phaedra would do that, because Mama Joyce has actually said some pretty detrimental things about Phaedra, you know, with the whole bombing thing and so on and so forth. So, as well as sort of digging into her marriage and her divorce. And, you know, so Mama Joyce has done some things that I personally think that Phaedra would have a right to want some level of recourse. So I could see that. But taking out your issues with Mama Joyce on Kandi, I'm not here for that. You know, Mama Joyce is a grown woman. You know, she's clearly capable of speaking up for herself. So if that is the source of your disdain, then I can understand why you would harbor some level of anger or resentment towards Mama Joyce. But I certainly can't see why you would redirect that onto Kandi, because I think that it's misdirected, if you will. So it's going to be interesting in part 4 to see whether or not Phaedra really stands up. And, you know, and I also say this, when this whole thing happened with Apollo going to jail, everyone kept saying Phaedra didn't know, Phaedra didn't know. Having seen what she's capable of, I don't know how anyone can sit there and say that she had no idea what was going on with Apollo anymore. I mean, this woman is clear, like, as far as I'm concerned, she probably was the mastermind pulling the strings, telling him how to do it, telling him what documentation he needed, because clearly this woman is surreptitious in nature. She knows how to circumvent the law. She knows how to pull strings. And I could definitely see her having a hand in whatever Apollo was doing. You know, I have to admit, I lost a lot of respect for Phaedra. You know, I've always loved Phaedra's hustle. You know, the fact that she was opening funeral homes, the fact that she was an attorney, the fact that she was a mother. You know, like, there's a lot of things that I still, to this day, unfortunately, I find give me a level of reverence or deference for Phaedra in a professional capacity. But as a human being, I think she's the worst of the worst. Because to me, there is no level she won't stoop to hurt or to harm. And at some point, I'm actually going to make a story time, you guys. I want to talk about some, because there's been some shady things that people who I consider friends have done to me. And you know what I do? I walk away. I walk away. I'm telling you, sometimes the best thing that you can do to people to hurt them is simply walk away. Not only do you walk away, but you walk away and you live better. I always tell people, looking good and living well is the best revenge. I don't have to hurt you. I don't have to harm you. I don't have to wish ill upon you. All I have to do is live the best possible life that I can live. And the fact that you see me living well, smiling, having a good time, and being me, that's how you hurt a person. That's how you hurt a person, because an unhappy person wants to see you being unhappy. And just by virtue of living and being happy, that is hurt and harm to them. So it's going to be really interesting during this episode to see whether or not Phaedra atones. It's going to be really interesting to see the fallout that results from this whole Phaedra and Portia revelation. You know, we'll get to see whether or not Frick and Frack are permanently fractured. I don't know how Portia could see herself being friends with Phaedra moving forward. Like, that's definitely not the type of person that you want to trust. Definitely not the type of person you want in your inner circle, because, you know, you have to be smart enough when you're dealing with people to not judge people by what they do to you when you guys are friends, but judge them based on what they do to people when they're not friends any longer. Because if you're dumb enough to believe that everything that she's doing to Candy right now, if you guys should have a parting of the ways for whatever reason, if you're dumb enough to believe that she wouldn't do it to you, then you deserve everything that you get. Everything that you get. This type of evil does not play favorites. It's not like she's going to say, well, I'm better friends with Portia, so I'm not going to do that to her. The moment, all of the information that she's getting as a result of being around you and being your friend, she's keeping a dossier. She has a file, a Portia file. And so the moment that the two of them are no longer friends, she is going to unleash. Not only does she have a Portia file, but Phaedra is so evil that she's conscious enough to absorb all of Portia's information, but limit the information about herself that she shares with Portia. So in the event that they split, Portia's information about her is limited, but hers is extensive. She's that type of person. So she's not dumb by any stretch of the, Phaedra is not dumb by any stretch of the imagination. So I assure you, she's getting all of Portia's information, and Portia is so dumb she's confiding in her because she doesn't realize that she's essentially sleeping with the enemy. So Portia is telling Phaedra all of her business, you know, high five and kikiing, all that good stuff. And meanwhile, Portia is nodding her head and just creating a mental memory and filing all of this stuff away in her data banks. And the moment the two of them part ways, she is going to let her have it. Mark my words. Mark my words. She is that type of person. And that's why I think Portia has to wake up and see, did you not see how much she was cookie crunching with Candy, how she was good friends, and this was, you know, like her girl, you know, this was her cookie crunch, so to speak. And now that they're not friends, if you guys were that good of friends, when you if the friendship for whatever reason dissolves, you just walk away. You walk away. But what you don't do is start going back and creating lies and really sort of trying to dredge up information that is not true to hurt someone that you once called a friend who really hasn't done anything to hurt or harm you. And I do want to say this too. Back when a few seconds ago when I was talking about Phaedra having issues with Mama Joyce, I can actually see Phaedra having issues with Todd as well because of his relationship with Apollo. I can see her, wanting to sort of take out some sort of level of vengeance upon him. But I don't really see where she has a bone to pick with Candy, other than the fact that Candy is married to Todd and the daughter of Joyce. But anyhow, you guys, so Season 4 will conclude, Season 9, Part 4 of the reunion concludes on Sunday. So be sure to check back on Sunday. I'm going to do a listen-in session, so you guys will be able to actually listen to the episode. Unfortunately, I can't post video because I'm not going to get my account deleted for the sake of those who want to see live video, but I am going to do a listen-in commentary so you can listen and hear my comments as the show is actually happening in real time. And also I'm going to do a review following that, so be sure to check back. That's it for this episode of RealiTEA. As always, in closing, you guys, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Also remember to follow me across all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. I am Cerebral Diva on all social media. Yeah, and remember to live better, love harder, and think smarter. It is me, the Cerebral Diva, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Have a great weekend.